Welcome back to another episode.
Welcome. Good morning.
We are excited for this one. It's going to be good.
I was going to say happy Monday, but it's not Monday, but that's okay.
In some ways, it feels like Monday. I don't know what it is. Sometimes Wednesday hits and it feels like a Monday. And it's just one of those days.
Yeah. Very, very applicable podcast today. We're talking about, starting side hustles and scheduling and organizing yourselves. And we record on Wednesday. So, yeah, it's good. We found our niche. We found our groove. So, yeah, very applicable. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So today, as Jordan mentioned, today's episode, we want to talk about how you can start a side hustle while having a full-time job. And this is something that I personally did 2 years ago, and Jordan has experience with this as well.
Yep.
Well, yeah, whenever we started Brooklyn Social, I had to do it on the side, and that's how it goes. Usually we tell people do not go all in right at the beginning because A, you haven't made money yet, and two, you have to test out your idea. So we're going to unpack all that. So it's going to be great.
Absolutely. Yeah. How was your last week? Anything special happen? What's going on?
This week was really fun. I actually recently got my pregnancy pillow. I ordered one on Amazon, but the first one that I got, I did not like. It was massive. It made me feel very claustrophobic and it hurt my neck. So returned that one. So now I ordered a new one that's a lot more compact. And I love it. I slept great last night.
The first one is funny. She looks like a beach whale in the bed. Like her shoulders are up. That was funny.
I got you to try it out, and you're like, I don't like this.
Well, I didn't like it either because like it's a big. It looks like a big horseshoe if you can imagine that, and yeah. Like I like to sleep on my side, very similar to Brooke right now with the pregnancy, and you can't really hug that pillow on the side because it's a horseshoe, right? Like your arm is now up because there's the U. So yeah, it was a good return. So we got an upgrade for sure. The next product we got, it
made me feel very hot. I was like sweating. I'm like, nope, I don't like that. That's my pet peeve when I sleep. It needs to be cool. It needs to be good temperature in that room. So.
Yeah, these are cold Vancouver days. It heated up that room. Just having the pillow in there.
Just that pillow alone.
Your body heat just went up.
It made it into a furnace in there. Had to open up the window, turn a fan on, chuck the pillow off the bed.
Well, yeah, if you're hanging out, like watching movies on the couch, I could see how that thing would be good. But yeah, sleeping, I don't think it's going to work. So you got this like nice little compact one. It's almost like a travel one.
Yeah, it literally is. It supports your front, my front belly, and my back. So I don't have pain there anymore. Well, I still get pain, but it's not as intense at night. So it works.
And this is obviously all for the pregnancy. If you didn't pick up on that.
Oh yeah, to give you.
It's not just hanging out, working. Right. You can't just have it.
Well, I think hopefully, by the sound of it, we did say pregnancy pillow. So I'm not just getting some random pillow. It's a pregnancy pillow. I'm getting close to third trimester. So
that's right.
I'm getting bigger.
Everyone watching and listening, you're following our journey. Yeah, every single day, Brooke gets closer and closer to end of March delivery. So,
yeah, unbelievable. What was the highlight of your week?
Hanging out with a lot of family. It's been good. Like we were over the last weekend at your family's house, hanging out with everybody, and then over the last couple of days, just me hanging out with my side, and you were at a function last night, so. Yeah, it's been good to hang out with the family, and it's interesting. Whenever I hang out with my family, it feels like old days because you're not there. It's just just Brett, Mom and Dad, and I. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool. With you not being there, it very reminds me of the old days. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before girlfriend, and wife,
and wife,
But it's good. Yeah, no, everything's good. Yeah, feeling good. It's been a good season. So looking forward to our discussion.
Me too. So our topic today is starting a side hustle while having a full-time job. So I want to start off with tip number 1. So identify your passions or interests. Yeah. So whenever you're thinking about what side hustle you want to do, you really want to think about, what am I interested in? What lights me up? Also, where's their demand in the market? So you might not necessarily be fully passionate about it, but you might see that there's a need in the market and you can fulfill that need. So for example, for me, I was very passionate about social media, and I saw that there was a need in the market. People would ask us for social media help, and so I fulfilled that need by starting my side hustle at Brooklyn Social. So maybe make a big list of ideas of things that you love to do, whether it's cooking, working out, anything that you can think of.
Minecraft.
Minecraft, Canucks, hockey.
Oh,
Maybe you start a YouTube channel doing a hockey commentary. So there's so many little things that you can do, but start off with your passion and your skills. And what are you naturally good at? I think that's another thing that you should think about. Are you really good with talking on camera? How can you utilize that? And how can you help people online? I think that's a big thing that you can do.
Well, if you can make money, doing the thing that you love to do, that's just gonna make work seem just easy, and it doesn't seem like work. You're just doing what you do, right? You're doing what you love. And certainly when I was a kid, it's outside playing hockey, or it's very recently playing pickleball, and then up to most recently it's doing what we're doing now with Brooklyn Social. So every day's fun, right? You wake up and you have your routine, and that's a good segue into what I was going to mention for the next one. It's the goals, right? So your short, medium, long-term goals. So for short term, certainly for Brooke and I, establishing the podcast, wanting to obviously gain viewership and really make this a thing that everyone can listen to every day, right? So those are certainly the short term. Medium, for sure would be obviously the baby's coming in the next couple of months. So how do we restructure our work right now, working with our clients? And then certainly for long term, growing this thing, right? Not just revenue, right? Obviously, you have revenue goals per year, right? Obviously, your CapEx, trying to reduce that every day. And for your long-term goals, where do you see the business in 5-10 years? Casually with your friends, you could obviously ask them, or they ask you, what are your 10-year goals, right? For us, it's certainly, where's the business going to be?
Yeah, I love that you said that, and I think there are certain niches that are more profitable than others. So if you don't know what a niche is, it means something that you're known for, or a topic. So for example, at Brooklyn Social here, we talk about social media, digital marketing. That's our niche. Obviously, you can post more than just beyond that, but what do you want to be known for, right? And so I knew that niche was a profitable niche, but there's many different niches that also you can make money in. So
absolutely,
the list goes on.
And that's something school taught me. Dominate your calendar, set your goals, understand what those goals, and then kind of reverse backwards, right? You'll work on the tasks eventually to get to that goal. So if you do that for your side hustle or your business, you're going to be flying. Yeah,
what are your goals, and then also what are the actions that you have to take to get there, and just write them all out. It might seem overwhelming, but it's a good practice to get into, just writing out what you need to do to get there.
Absolutely. So. Well, very similar to New Year's resolutions, right? You have your top 20 things you want to accomplish in the next year, right?
Very relevant.
Every day, what do you need to do to eventually check that off, as you say, writing it down, or mentally you just know what it is, right? And then you have some satisfaction internally, it's done. So
and I know there's a lot of debate. Some people say, you don't need to set goals, just worry about just focus on the process. And I understand what they mean. From our experience, not having a direction, not having, when we fail to set a goal, it actually makes you more, chaotic. You don't really know where you're heading. So I think, for example, a simple example could be, I'm going to set up my Instagram account. I'm going to, by this date, and by end of January, I am going to set up this Instagram account, and I'm going to post once a day. So I think setting realistic goals like that makes a big difference. All right, moving on to our next tip is time management. So whenever you have when you have a full-time schedule, or when you have a full-time job, if you're working Monday to Friday, it can be tough, right? To create content, to focus on your side hustle. That's definitely a challenge. So what I would recommend is really finding time in your mornings or in the evenings to work on your side hustle. This is something that I personally had to do when I worked a full-time job. I would post in the morning and I would work on my side hustle in the morning and in the evenings and on the weekends. So you have to be creative with your time, and you have to find little pockets of time, because you don't have hours to dedicate to your side hustle every day. You have these little 20-minute, half an hour sessions that you get. So you just have to be wise with your time whenever you are starting a side hustle. But I do want to start off by saying, if you are someone who has not yet started a side hustle, because that's the point of this whole topic, that's the point of this whole podcast, you have to rip the Band-Aid off. Okay.
Yeah.
And when I say that, what I mean when I say that is that it's going to feel really uncomfortable to start. Okay. That's, I think, where the biggest roadblock is. You've been thinking about starting the side hustle probably for a couple months now or a year, but you still are not able to do it. And you literally just have to make the decision and do it. Okay. Decide what you want to be known for. What do you want, whether it's a business or being a content creator or being both? And what do you want to post about? What do you want to sell? You want to get really clear, and you just have to start. Okay.
Yep.
And it could be simple as setting up your Instagram page, setting up your LinkedIn, and you don't have to have all the answers, but just rip that Band-Aid off.
Well, if you want to start a side hustle, you gotta obviously find the groove, right? So as Brooke says, tactfully, I'm referring to this right now. Starting the page, right? Just set it up. Go into Instagram, start that account, or Facebook, YouTube, whatever, right? Get the handle, right? Set everything up, and then you want to obviously find your groove, right? When you're gonna create the content, when you're gonna post that. So time block that throughout the week. And that actually is a great segue into what I was going to chat about, is creating a schedule. So as Brooke says, right, just rip the Band-Aid off, start it. Whether it's a new niche or business, or it's a current business, you do have to schedule out your activities. So for us, just to you could steal this if you want, follow this, but what we've done is we've identified when we come up with our content, right? How many fun videos are we going to shoot, right? What are the themes? What's the theme of the podcast we're going to talk about? And then what are some, B-roll clips that we're going to do and post out, right? That's our content strategy. And then we capture it the next day. And then, the following day is editing, right? So do that if you're going to be a content creator. If you're a weightlifter, or if you're a sports person, right? When your dedicated practice times in between work and school, and then obviously you have the game coming up, right? So you just work backwards, right? Obviously you need the prep to go into the final result. So finding that schedule is huge, and whether that's Microsoft Outlook, you have the calendar view, it's iCloud with your Apple calendar. That's how I work, right? A couple calendars to manage your personal life and your work life. So just organize yourself however that looks.
I love that you said that, because it can seem really overwhelming, especially when it comes to the content creation side. When you start a side hustle, it's like, how do I know what to post? I don't know what I'm doing. But if you break it up into phases, as Jordan mentioned here, you plan your content, and that can be as simple as just writing out 5 or 10 content ideas that you want to do and that your audience would find fun. So start with that, and then you have your filming time and then your editing. But whenever you are when you're working full time, you don't have sometimes big blocks of time. So you do have to, it's okay to be a little bit more flexible with your schedule. Well, you sometimes have no choice. So maybe you have to get up earlier, right? Maybe you have to, after work, stay up later. I don't want to promote working 24/7, but sometimes there are seasons. If you want your side hustle, your business to succeed, sometimes there are seasons where you have to put in the extra hours. And I don't want to sugarcoat it by saying it just magically happens. No, sometimes you have to get up early. Sometimes you got to stay up late, but still look after yourself though. Yeah. Sometimes it's when you're trying to get something off the ground, it can be a lot of work, but it won't be forever. Yeah,
and certainly you want to grind if you want to meet success, right? You can't just always feel comfortable. You want to always work on that next thing and challenge yourself to, okay, I'm going to film X amount of videos, right? Referring to a content creator, film those X amount of videos and have all that just planned out really for the week. That's what we do. We know when we're going to capture, edit, blah, 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 blah. So if you want to replicate that, do it, because, it certainly keeps us at peace of mind, because we know what we're going to work on, when we're going to do it. And yeah, it's not just a big scare. Oh, it's going to be a big, crazy, stressful week. Well, if it's planned out, it makes it a little bit easier.
Oh, makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that leads me to my next point is, it really helps to start small. Don't overwhelm yourself by offering all these different offers or products, or start off small. So what I mean by that is, maybe you're not on every social media platform. Maybe you just go all into one.
Well, that's what we do. Yeah, only a handful of platforms. Same with one of our clients. They're just on one, right? Because that's where their audience is. Yeah. So it depends on really who you're targeting for. Yeah.
Yeah, and going back to what you said about your goals. So what do you want? Are you wanting to start a business, or are you wanting to be more of a content creator working with brands? Yeah. Those are two different things, but you could do them eventually at the same time. But you should have a focus. Like, this is something that I personally did when I started Brooklyn Social, is I didn't offer everything. I wasn't focusing on getting brand deals. I wasn't focusing on offering products, or I focused on one-on-one coaching. That's literally all I offered. I didn't even offer social media management at the time, because I just had to get really good at one-on-one coaching at the beginning. And sometimes when you offer too many things, or you make things more complicated, being on all the platforms, you end up getting burnt out, and you end up not gaining any momentum. Yeah. So start off small, and once you get really good at one of your offers, or getting really good at one thing, then you can branch out. That's a big takeaway.
That's something that I've personally learned over the last couple of years. Where's your niche, and stick to that small thing, as Brooke says. And that's something that over the last, when did I graduate high school? 2015. So that was around 8 years ago. Jeez, that's unbelievable. Getting older. All the people out there are like, you kid. It's been a learning curve over the last 8 years, right? So you eventually find what you want to do, but how are you going to make all that worthwhile? So for me, what I wanted to do was, how can I use business, right? And that's the thing. If you're in business, you can go so many different avenues. Oh, right? Yeah,
it can be overwhelming.
You're in the middle of everything, right? If you're in nursing school, obviously that's more defined, right? But you could be a nurse for a hospital or other, right? So there's different ways. But if you're in business, you're kind of in the middle of everything. So the next point I wanted to talk about was building routine. So we talked about schedules earlier. I was mentioning how we map out our week, our to-do list, blah, blah, blah. For the routine, it's certainly following that schedule, and it eventually just becomes your routine throughout the week. Yeah, totally. Right? So we know what Monday's going to look like, right? If there's some tweaks in the schedule a little bit, that's fine. But as long as you accomplish those things throughout the day, that's good. So eventually, just life becomes a little bit easy, because we know what we're going to do. It's just it's a defined routine, right? And for us, we like to have the routine of going for a walk in the morning, right? End of the day, obviously for me, playing some sports, or going for another walk, or run, or video games, something like that, whatever takes your mind off. So building routine throughout business life, it's just so crucial.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And even more so when you have a full-time job, you have to be laser focused on what you're doing. Totally. In the morning and in the evenings, even during the day, depending on how flexible you are. You should plan out either on Saturday or Sunday, what am I doing on Monday morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, or in the evening? Because your days are just busier, right? When you have a full-time job. Yeah, you have to make it work. Yeah. So my next point is invest in learning. So whenever I started Brooklyn Social, I consumed so much information on YouTube, in class at university. Same thing with Jordan with school. Take advantage of online resources, like Google how to start a side hustle, and you will find loads of information, and find people that are doing what you want to do. Yeah. This is something that was big
research
for us personally.
See what they do. Yeah.
study people, that you want to be like. So for example, if you want to be a fitness instructor, you want to be a hairstylist, find people on social media that are crushing it, and
Absolutely.
then work backwards and maybe even hop on a call with them and ask them questions like, hey, how did you do this? And it doesn't hurt to ask, you never know. They might want to help you. So, take advantage of those resources.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what I've learned is building your network, right? So we've talked about this on recent podcasts. The network that you have is really going to help you, right? So one of our clients that we manage, what they do is they provide peer-to-peer support for CEOs, executives, right? So you can imagine all the things you learn in that type of a group, right? Unbelievable, because they've been through it, right? They're older than you. So for me, just be a sponge whenever you're around those people, right? Because they've built businesses and sold, right? So for us, that network and just seeking support, getting advice, and just learning, that's so huge. And then even for other content creators and YouTubers and people just like us, right, selling products and services, exactly what we're doing, where we've learned a lot from what they've done, and we've taken some things and tried to implement that for our business. Yeah,
I love that you said that, and it's so true. I've heard the saying, your network becomes your net worth.
Absolutely.
It's so true though, because when you surround yourself with amazing people that are 10 times or even just 2 or 3 levels ahead of you, you will naturally get there faster.
Yes.
Whereas if you're always around people that you're constantly having to help them, you're constantly around negative people, that is going to affect your long-term success. And we've been there, and we know that being around other people that are doing great things makes us better, and makes your life and your business better.
Absolutely.
I want to end on one final tip, and don't be afraid to take messy action. Whenever you're starting a side hustle, it's going to feel kind of messy. You're having to balance a lot. You're having to juggle your full-time job. Maybe you got kids. Maybe you got to worry about the dog. Maybe you got to worry about, there's so many things. You got to get the groceries.
Apparently we have a dog.
I don't have a dog, but we have a cat. So if you're not a cat person, it's but it's going to feel kind of messy, and it's going to feel uncomfortable. And you can do your best planning. You can do all that. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of days where you just have to roll your sleeves up and do the hard work. And it's going to feel sometimes, oh my goodness, why am I working on this at 8:00 at night? I'm exhausted. Go back to your why, right? As Jordan said, why do you start a side hustle in the first place? Why do you want to start it? And then it makes it a lot easier. Are you doing it for your kids? Are you doing it for your future self? That's something that we all always have to go back to because business and running a business and can be tough, right? Because there's a lot of unknowns sometimes. But if you go back to your why, it makes it a lot better. And remember, they always said that in business school. And if you watch any business advice on YouTube, know your why, and it can't just be to make more money. Even though that's nice, you have to have a deeper why. And for me, it's for my future family. It's to make my family proud. It's for my future children. I want them to be proud of me, and that's my why. And also freedom. That's another. I want to hear what yours is. But for me, the reason why I started a side hustle in a business is I want more freedom in my life. And you sometimes at the beginning you're not gonna get freedom at the beginning because you're working 24/7. But long term, I know that I will have more freedom having a business. I'll be able to make more impact in the world because I can manage my own time and my own schedule. I don't have someone telling me you need to be here at this time and you have to leave at this time. I wanted to manage my own schedule. So, what about for you? Why do you want to have a business?
Well, seeing what family members have done, right, starting businesses, that's certainly what I wanted to replicate and certainly having that certainly freedom is certainly good. Throughout the day, I like to keep myself busy and follow what we want to accomplish. Right. I don't want to just take off full days of work. I still like the I still like the work week.
Yeah. When I say freedom, I mean more long term.
Certainly, no one looking over your shoulder for sure. Right. Certainly the same thing as you. Right. Future children. Being proud. And we're really leaving a legacy. That's really what we want to do. And
absolutely.
But this conversation, everything about this, I mean, we were literally looking for these tips. A year ago, 2 years ago, right? We were looking for tips of how to create the content calendar. What are the activities that go before you shoot the content, edit it, just all that stuff. We were kind of scrambling for this, right? And we were in the place now where we want to share what we've learned and really give you a roadmap of what to do. So hopefully all this really stuck to you. Yeah,
absolutely. And also to a final point. I know I said a final point a bit ago, but this is the final point. Is that you cannot wait for approval from your family or your friends, okay? I think this is another thing that stops people, because this is kind of what stopped me. Whenever I wanted to start doing one-on-one coaching, launching Brooklyn Social, people would question it and they're like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" Even family members, they would actually offer me to, they would tell me to do different things. So it's good to seek advice, but at the end of the day, you have to follow your gut. And I followed my gut and I said, I'm gonna try this out. So I think that's the big takeaway. You can't just wait for everyone and all their friends to be, yes, that's the best idea, go for it. Because people are not gonna do that. In fact, it could be the opposite. People are be like, ooh, you sure you wanna do that? What about this idea? What about this? And take their advice. It's okay to listen, but you have to do a lot of deep reflection and deep thinking. And, for me, I knew deep down, I wanted to start this business. I knew the value I could add to people, and let me try it out. Even if it doesn't work out, okay, I'll start something else. So don't take yourself so seriously. Try it out. Give yourself a couple months to try out your side hustle and start making money, and then let them talk, right? So I think that's the biggest thing, is test and learn.
Well, this is fun. What a good chat. Yeah.
Such a good chat. And hopefully this helped you. Please send this episode to a friend who needs it. If you know someone who wants to start a side hustle, if you want to start a side hustle, share this with your friends on social media, send the link, and please give us a 5-star review on Apple. We'd really appreciate that.
Totally.
Anyways, until next time.
See ya.
Bye.